Good day everyone, I am Rakiza Sigaw guys. So for today's video, I'll be presenting my laboratory activity number 6, which is titration. So first, let me state first my objectives for this presentation. So my objective is to discuss properly the titration, the use, the parts and importance of titration in chemistry. Let's define first what is titration. Titration is used to quantify the unknown concentration of the solution by reacting it with solution known concentration. In an acid-base titration, the acid may be the solution with known concentration and react it with base of unknown concentration to determine its concentration or vice versa. Titration set up with labels. So there are 4 parts of the titration based on the picture. So first is the burette, second is the titrant, third is the stopcock, and the last is the analyte. Acid-base titrations are used to determine the concentration of a sample of acid or base and are carried out using a piece of equipment called a burette. It is a long glass tube with a tap at the end which can be used to very carefully add drops of liquid to a test solution. The question is, what apparatuses are used for filtration? While all titration needs some basic equipment, such as the conical flask, which 100 or 200 milliliters, volumetric flask 100 or 200 milliliters, pipette, the pipette filler, the burette, stand with clamp for burette, filter paper, which is sometimes for color detection, measuring cylinder 50 or 100 milliliters. Lastly is the scale of the balance. And some titration equipment is specific to the kind of titration being performed. The question is, how titration is performed? Titration is done just by like this. So suppose we have a known concentration of sodium hydroxide and we want to determine a known concentration of HCl. So we do titration. We put HCl of solution of volume 50 milliliters in Enlimier flask and we fill the burette with sodium hydroxide solution up to 0 mark. We need indicator called phenolphthalein and put 3 drops to Enlimier flask. The purpose of this indicator is to know the endpoint. Now we can start the titration. Several times later, we notice that there is temporary color light pink change when sodium hydroxide solution drops. This means that we are now reached the endpoint. The endpoint is permanent color change from colorless to light pink. When we put more sodium hydroxide exceeding the sodium hydroxide to the endpoint, so our solution is show overrun. So first, let me answer first the question, why do perform titration in laboratory and what is importance of titration in chemistry? The purpose of titration is to determine an unknown concentration in a sample using an analytical method. Titration is a common laboratory method of quantitative chemical analysis that is used to determine the unknown concentration of an identified analyte. Titration is an analytical technique that is widely used in the food industry. It allows food manufacturers to determine the quantity of the reactant in a sample. For example, it can be used to discover the amount of salt or sugar in product or the concentration of vitamin C or E, which has an effect on product color. My generalization for this video, titration is important in chemistry as it allows for an accurate determination of solution concentration of the analyte. Titration can help us discover the concentration of an unknown substance in the lab. During this process, the analyte is the unknown we want to find, while the titrant or standard solution has a known concentration. That will be all for now. Once again, I am Rakiza Sigaugay. Thank you for watching and God bless us all. Bye-bye!